All right. Today's going to be pretty short. I don't want to go um, too much in depth. I just want to go over some stuff I've just seen on Twitter these last few days,
Doing some kind of
and
event in the Grand Hub?
that's really about
Let's go
it.
check it out.
Still feel free to ask me like any questions, like regarding any matchups or just anything in general. I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities because not everybody's on Twitter and stuff. So, or these social media apps in general outside of YouTube. So a lot of people don't really know what really be going on and stuff. But I'm just sharing the stream out to people, and then that's really about it. Okay, I finished sharing everything out. Uh, where do I even begin from what I've been seeing this entire weekend in terms of like discussions, like versus matchups and stuff? 'Cause there's just so much I can talk about. I just don't know where to start. But I don't want to stream too long. Probably at minimum an hour. But I also don't want to just have y'all just here, I guess, without making it interesting. Because
given a message for you.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I did not know I was muted this entire time. So thank you for the two people that's in here. I was just about to actually start what I wanted to talk about. And the first thing I did want to discuss is the Twitter stuff I seen the last 2 days about some that banned Gamif tweeted about how Runa Nergigante and Velkhana is equals to each other. And that should be common knowledge. You know, everybody should know this information. I mean, we did play the same game, is what I would hope, but apparently some people are like very confused. Like they act like this is like new information. Like, and I'm just sitting here like, unless you're a new player, that's understandable that you did not know this information. But the fact that there's people on Twitter basically going insane out of their minds after finding out that Runa Nergigante and Velkhana are equal, they are just like, there's no way this is true or this and that. And, you know, most people, they automatically go to saying like, you know how Nergigante is a fraud and stuff like that, which I am a firm believer that he is pretty strong. I won't lie. And it's a common thing in Monster Hunter that the older monsters get, the stronger they get as well. It's not, you can't really apply real world logic to how creatures and animals age. They usually get weaker. They go through a decrease in, you know, everyday activities and strength. Monster Hunter is completely different. You know, humans aren't really humans in this game, in my opinion, at least. You know, they are quote unquote human, but the stuff they pull off is definitely not human at all. And this also applies to the dragons and elder dragons and stuff like that, and the way they age and how it's basically a reverse for them. Like they get stronger as they age, which is a good detail, right? So a lot of people do have this misconception that Nergigante is usually a fraud because he goes after the old. When I believe in Monster Hunter, the older you get, the more bioenergy you have. So like going after the older monsters in Monster Hunter is basically like hitting the jackpot, because the more bioenergy you have, I'm pretty sure, the stronger you get as a result. And that is something that ties into Magna Malo as well. Even though in his case, he just needs to eat and he'll just get stronger. Nergigante is a special case where, at least from what my understanding, he gets everything from basically just, you know, going after strong prey and stuff like that, which is why he's known as the eater of elder dragons. And so a lot of people were just like, for some reason, just surprised that Velkhana is on the same tier as Runa Nergigante. And I'm like, this should be common knowledge for everybody, because it does not take a genius to look at like turf wars and whatnot and just this and that. And so another thing about that is the fact that a lot of people just have this kind of bias and favoritism towards, you know, obviously I think it's always good to hype up your favorite monster. You know, so it looks cool, and stuff like that. You know, it's cool to do that. But at the same time, it gets a little redundant when you keep hyping up these monsters like that, especially if like you don't know the basic information about said favorite monster. Um, I believe it's always good to research what you like as well, because otherwise, why is that your favorite thing, right? Even if you're not like uh, because I have people that don't play Monster Hunter, but they really love specific monsters, but um, they ask me for like lore reasons behind them and stuff, and of course I'll answer to the best I can, but I always tell them, you know, just look up some lore videos about them, and then you know, because like you could anybody can claim something as their favorite, but in absolutely no, basically Jack S. Jack Sugar Honey Iced Tea about it, and it's just that's how that's how I feel about Nergigante fans. They don't really it's either they go overboard with how strong he is, or they completely undermine him too. I've seen a lot of people undermine Nergigante. And the undermining Nergigante stuff, that also gets annoying, as well as hyping him up all the time too. Because I always, in my Volcana video that I released, one of my shorts, I basically just, I gave a good, I didn't even I made it subtle, but I did imply that, you know, the reason people see Volcana as weak is because Ruin and Nergigante. And so it's just funny seeing how the Twitter community acts when Gamif said like, yeah, they're Volcana and Ruin and Nergigante are, you know, equals in some shape or form. And the comment section was pretty interesting because you have the deniers and you also have the believers, right? I always trust Gamif before anybody else. I'm gonna be honest, because he does good work when translating Japanese text and stuff like that. And there's also a few people as well that does that too. And you just have people basically be like a hard ass and just overly stubborn, just about something that they did not know, or like they have a best misinterpretation about. And of course, it's always the Nergigante fans for some reason, because yeah, some people do think he's a fraud, right? I think that's pretty valid. People think Nergigante is a fraud, but at the same time, I don't think he is as well, because if it's pretty much, I won't say common knowledge, but I think everybody should know that monster hunters in this game get stronger when they get older, right? So Nergigante going after the so-called old and weak is pretty much valid, because he's getting more bioenergy from his prey items when they're older, as opposed to those who are really young and don't have too much going for it. Again, I could be wrong. Always feel free to correct me and whatnot. And shout out to the three people that's in just hearing me yap and whatnot. Let me know if you guys do want me to hunt something, because I could just sit in this tent and just talk for like the amount of time I do want to stream for tonight. And it's just I do believe everything is a two-way street, right? You know, you can call Nergigante a fraud, right? You can call Nergigante the strongest monster. You can't do all that, you know. But obviously, like, it comes to a point where you actually got to sit down and be like, is my favorite is my favorite the strongest, right? And so I always like, I try not to like slander Nergigante all the time. I think it's just funny because pissing off his fans is I don't know why, but ever since I joined this community in like 2021, that has just been a thing I did like doing, right? And it's not even because I prefer like Volcana and stuff, because I didn't really like Volcana like that when I was first into the community too. Um, I think my favorite has always been like Elatreon, uh, Dire Morales, and some other Elder Dragons I can't think of right now. Oh yeah, Matsu. Oh my god, and Shagaru Magala. Right, those are my favorite monsters. Right, and so when I first started doing Monster Hunter content for my YouTube, it's mainly because I do want to like make it aware that there's a lot of things that are just completely wrong about the monsters, and overall, just to prove how strong Monster Hunter is in general. Because a lot of people are surprised when I actually bring forth these the information that I find about these monsters, and I'm still learning new things, right? And I always say that it's because localization is terrible for this franchise, and so I don't blame people for not knowing, some of this information that, honestly speaking, should be common knowledge. But I can't, like I said, I sound like a dead horse. I can't, blame people for not knowing because there's very few people that'll just go out of their way to translate unless they're like, like Band, Gamif and stuff. They really love this franchise. They really love the game. So you're not really gonna get these people to translate everything and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's just I find the honestly I find like I think the Monster Hunter Twitter community is like very um unorthodox, if that's the right word. They're just in a very weird spot where you have all these amazing people, right? Like Gamif and stuff. You would think that um they would look through his account and find like all the lore and like backstory about these monsters and how strong those monsters is. Of course, I don't expect these people to go insanely crazy when going over how strong a monster is, right? Because they're not really gonna go too much into that. Not everybody cares about how strong a monster is. They care about lore, they care about design and stuff like that, and that's cool, right? I love all that. I love lore, right? But he's usually my go-to for like finding just basic information about a monster and whatnot, and just overall just stuff about the fan base, right? Not the fan base, the franchise. And so when people ask like questions to him about like who's stronger, like Ray Dow or like Astalos or something, or like Ruiner Gigante or Volcana or Ruiner Gigante and Valstrax, I'm just like he's gonna give you information based off like what he finds, right? Like lore, stuff, like gameplay, some stuff like that, right? He's not gonna give you like a crazy breakdown of like what he believes. He's gonna go based off like what he's read and stuff like that. And I believe that is also a good way of determining how strong a monster is, right? Because I think that's fair, right? And a lot of people do hate these type of accounts for their takes on like what monster is stronger, right? But not everybody is like these power scaling YouTubers where they have to calculate every single thing like that like destroying a freaking slab of rock, like how much force that generates. They're not gonna do all that, bro. And so I just be looking at people like, oh my god, I need to relax with that. And I think I'm gonna go back to what I was discussing before about how people are just now noticing that Volcana is really like that because like throughout her story, right? I think Capcom did say that um it was a male, right, Volcana, but like I don't know, I'm so used to calling Volcana a girl. So I think I'm just stick with that. I mean, you really can't get hard pressed about people. That's another thing, right? Most people go overboard on stuff like that, right? And it's just like, well, these are creatures, right? Like Mizusune, I still call them a girl sometimes, even though the ones we fight are just males. But excluding gender aside, um, Volcana is like that, and even piggybacking off the video I released recently, not even recently, like 2 3 months ago, basically just power scaling Volcana. Um, yeah, I said Volcana was a rival to Ruiner Nergigante. And even their turf war really just shows you like the difference in how these two monsters fight. Turf wars are just there to show you how these monsters fight and interact, right? They can't give you a scope of like who wins 9 times out of 10. And oh my god, speaking of turf wars, people are just like they see the turf. They don't see the turf war for what it really is. Like, yeah, cool action scene, right? But like someone like me, like I usually watch it a few times. I even started watching them slowed down because I just seen somebody over this weekend saying how Magmalo ties with Volcano, whatever, and how that kind of ruins it in Nergigante in a way. So they don't think Volcano can actually fight Nergigante because it ties with, mind you, they are talking about base Magmalo, and I'm pretty sure that their argument was the fact that um, it was because Magmalo quote unquote loses to Yostra Kushala. I'm like, I don't think we watched the same turf wars or played the same game because not only does it tie, Magmalo ties with Kushala and Teostra, um, it was clearly the better of those turf wars, right? It got more hits in. It was doing more than the actual Elder Dragons. And the only time Kushala and Teostra actually fought back was when Magmalo crashed um, either Elder Dragons on our person because Manumalo will always send Crash back down to where the player is at, and I think that's a pretty smart touch too that they added. And so most people, I don't know why. I just chalk it up to people not liking Rise at all. So they're just finding anything they can to just give the game a bad rep. And if you just look through my past streams, you'll notice I stream Rise more than anything, right? Just doing whatever on the game, just playing it. And it's pretty insane just seeing how people um completely miss context clues and in the games, right? You don't need anything hand fed to you, right? Sometimes um you have to do your own research, your own like investigations. And I think being an independent researcher is, beneficial to, everyday life anyway, because we're always taking in new knowledge and stuff. And it's just seeing people completely like miss the mark on these monsters is crazy, especially when it comes to figuring out who's stronger, because like it's just weird. So like yeah, Volcana is like that, and I'm glad people are understanding that Volcana is a menace in her own right because like she's clearly superior to any monsters beforehand. So Volcana can beat um base Nergigante, right? She could beat um pretty much any monster in the world except for Zora Magnaros, right? Because even Nergigante really isn't doing anything. And this is another thing, right? Zora, a lot of people try to exclude it, and I get it, right? Because when it was basically in the new world to die and basically it explodes, right? Its explosion would have destroyed the new world, and a lot of people think that's just like um, a country level feat, right? When um, characters in the game is telling us that no, the new world is a new continent, right? Even though we didn't discover everything, these Wyverians that are telling us like, yeah, Zora Mandaros, if it explodes in this specific area, it's going to destroy the entire continent. I'm going to believe these Wyverians over people in real life because like these are characters that traveled the entire new world before the humans have traversed over, to the new world, right? And they explored pretty much the entire continent, probably. So if they're telling us, yeah, Zoromandaros dying here is going to destroy all of the new world. I'm going to take that more than anything. And a lot of people also forget that how crazy that is for Xeno'jiiva too, because I believe Xeno'jiiva was the reason for these Elder Dragons crossing over as well. So Xeno'jiiva wouldn't need to survive the explosion anyway, and I think it would have, right? Because that was going to be a lot of bioenergy being absorbed into it. And I just learned recently that Nergigante was also in the new world for Xeno'jiiva too. And apparently Bruno Nergigante was also searching for Safi Jiva, the one we fight in the valley or whatever. And it was gonna lose these matchups anyway. I think Nergigante, it's up to debate if he could have beaten uh Xeno'jiiva, but I don't think he can. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like that's a close fight, right? Yeah, Xeno'jiiva is pretty much fresh out the egg. It doesn't know how to fight, but as we were fighting Xeno'jiiva anyway, it was already adapting to how we fight. It was adapting to how it was meant to fight, and overall, it was learning much faster than you would expect from a monster going through its course of life. It was learning pretty much everything, and let's say like I'm gonna use the game time, right? So like we have 50 minutes in the hunt, right? So this Elder Dragon, right, fresh out the egg, was learning how to fight within an hour, right? Maybe even before that, considering how fast you probably killed it, right? Obviously, it took me about 20 minutes. So like it was just learning how to fight. Well, it was adapting to my movements and stuff. It was learning how to use its attacks, all in less than 20 minutes, right? Most monsters they go their whole lives, right? Um, and we know monsters live for probably centuries to hell. I'm gonna go even to say millennia if you give them a chance, right? Um, you just have these monsters just you just have Xeno'jiiva like evolving so fast. It's pretty crazy, and it's also crazy, right? Because I'm pretty sure if Xeno'jiiva, if Zora Magdaros quote unquote died, right? Xeno'jiiva would have went on to become like one of the strongest monsters in the franchise, I believe, right? Because when Capcom said that Safi Jiva was, made to be a rival to Fatalis, everybody ran with the thing that, Safi Jiva was like strongest monster in the franchise. I don't think it is still. It's up there. I think it's the third, at least in terms of mainline. But because I say third because it's really a tiebreaker between Safi Jiva and Elatrion, depending on. For me, I think Elatrion just has a lot more statements going for him, as opposed to Safi Jiva, who has very few, right? And then, you can always say that, well, Capcom said this, right? And I try not to do that because I feel like that kind of ruins, the matchup in a way, right? Because I could just say, yeah, well, the creators of Sakujiva said, yeah, Sakujiva was created to be a rival to Fatalis, so therefore Sakujiva is like the second or the first or second strongest monster. But the dive book does state that Sakujiva and Elatrion are pretty much considered rivals in a way. If they were to fight, they would have just destroyed the planet. And I want you guys to know that the monster on the planet, we don't even know how big it is, right? So like, just off that is already impressive enough for Sakujiva, and it's also impressive for Xeno'jiiva too, because like I said before, Zora Magdaros dying was going to destroy the entire new world, which is an entirely new continent. I'm tired of that country level scaling people use for some reason. Um, and it's like yeah, bro. At this point you really got to look at Nergigante and be like, maybe my goat is washed because just everything about Nergigante, right, he's pretty much like he's smart, right? Because I think he was preparing to fight these monsters anyway. Like apparently he was preparing to fight Shara Frauga, so he was going around just like trying to get bioenergy and stuff, which is cool, right? But then you have stories too, which is not canon, but I still treat it as its own continuity. You have Nergigante in that game, acting like a fool, trying to fight Altura. Mind you, Altura is also a Black Dragon level monster or Forbidden level monster, which is like what I like to call, these monsters that can destroy a planet. um, just going after it, the larva state. And mind you, we don't even know how big the larva state is, but apparently its range is like the entire planet. And so Nergigante was trying to run, I think, after it or something, if I remember right. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like he just tried to he just fights outside of his pay grade, and it doesn't work. Right? He died in Stories 2 for doing that crap, and I was like, you know what? He probably deserved it because now he's doing too much. And I also feel like that was just like a call out to the fans and how they kind of go overboard with how strong he is. When yeah, in reality, that's probably what would happen in most cases if he tries to fight above his pay grade. You know. I'm not saying he can't survive these fights, right? But it's really, really, really not going to be an easy fight, right? And this ties into like the next discussion thing I want to talk about with Shara Esmeralda and you know Ruiner Gigante because in the Iceborne Dive book they do state that Ruiner Gigante is the predator for Shara Esmeralda, right? But that's also weird to me because it looks like this is just the first time ever that we've seen these two monsters fight, right? So you really can't call Ruiner Gigante the predator to Shara Esmeralda, right? Because this is like Goku killing what's his name? Demon King Piccolo. So apparently Goku would be the killer of Namekians, right? That doesn't it doesn't work like that. The predator of Namekians, it doesn't work like that, right? That was just a one time instance, I'm pretty sure. And I don't think there's any lore behind these two monsters fighting in the past or whatever. But if there was something like that, I would leave the text in the dive book stating that um, Ronin Nergigante is the predator to Chara, but that's not really the case, especially since I learned that Nergigante was trying to prepare for Chara. So this means one, right? Chara Esmeralda is above, like I said before, Ruin Nergigante. Oh my God, Ruin Nergigante's pay grade, or two, um, it was just trying to make sure that it can't lose the fight. You know, you never want to go in a fight and expect to lose. So you always got to train or and stuff beforehand. You know, got to get your gains up before you get in the fight. It's pretty much like that. And so I think I'm pretty much a fan of the first one, just saying that Chara is above its pay grade. A lot of people seem to undermine Chara, and I'm just like, I mean, I'm like, are we really just watching or playing the same game? Because I do think Shara didn't get the chance to even show us how strong it really is. Like, yeah, it went through the second phase and stuff, and whatnot. It's pretty much seen as a natural disaster. It was changing the weather, I'm pretty sure, which almost every Elder Dragon can do, in some shape or form. And it was pretty much destroying most of the New World and up to the Horrorverse reach, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that's all impressive and stuff, right? But it really gets to the point where it's like Shara is still technically a final boss, right? And most of the final bosses, if you connect them in some way, most of these final bosses are like, you know, in those continental ranges, right? So this could mean that Shara is pretty much on the same tier as like Zora, but I think you got to realize like Zora was only gonna do this continental feat by dying from you know its own explosion. So I do believe Shara is a bit stronger than Zora, but that's just me. But then okay, so I pretty much gone over the Nergigante stuff. Like I don't want to talk about him for like two streams and whatnot. Uh, all I have to say about the Twitter things I seen this week was that, yeah, I'm glad people are just, you know, starting to respect Volcana. Um, she is definitely up there as one of the strongest 15 monsters, but we do need to pit like Nergigante to rest. I think bro is like even tired of his own fans. I think because if you look at freak how paparazzi be bothering these celebrities, I'm pretty sure Nergigante is feeling just like that, bro. Like he just wants to smack some of them because they do be going overboard with their fanaticism. Pretty sure I said that right. Um, but yeah, like Okana, I think I do prefer Okana over Narigante, but that's just me, you know. Okay. Mm. Just drinking some water real quick. I was yapping for way too long. I don't think I yapped that much in a while.
Yes.
Uh, I guess I want to. Damn, I can't redo that. That's tempered. That would be kicking my ass though. I'm trying to do one quest, I guess, before I. Probably while I do the quest, I'll figure out what else I want to discuss.
I'll be waiting here.
Or in the meantime, I could just look for. Yeah, that's not narrow. Oh my god. I guess if I want to, I could talk about um the invaders, like not the even the invaders. I'd probably talk about how Magnamalo versus like Virginia and stuff. Cause like I'm pretty sure when Rise came out, that was like a big like discussion anyway. You know how most people feel about Virginia and stuff like that. You know,
Do you
and
have a
I'd be
moment?
like, I'd just be
I
like,
have a
I
lot of
guess
details from
he's
everyone.
strong, but like Magnamalo is just different in a way that he just has a better arsenal, in my opinion. Like, yeah, Virginia has, um, I would say probably better like physical strength than anything else. I mean, that's pretty much a given, right? And yeah, he has his charged up state and whatnot. But like from what I'm seeing, even regular Magnamalo can contend with his Super Saiyan state anyway. And it's like they fight like completely different anyway.
Do you have a moment? I have a lot of things for you from everyone.
Oh right, the new
Somebody wants to make a trade.
right. Let me just do this. But yeah, I think Magnamalo is just outright stronger than Rajang anyway. Even if you look at their variants, I still think scoring Magnamalo is stronger than Fierce Rajang. Like, that's just no. There's no debating that. Either Sune, Arcvo, Duna. Oh, come on, bro. Guess I can go for it. Sounds great.
Welcome.
Oh, snap. Shout out to the 4 people that's watching or stopping by. Like I have in my pinned comment, just feel free to ask me a question. Doesn't have to be like matchup based, but like it could be anything really. I'm just testing out something real quick, but yeah. I was basically the current topic. What I was talking about was basically like Magmalo or like Rajang, like who's stronger between those two. And personally, I still think, what's the name is stronger, Magmalo, and even their variants is like it's pretty much cut and dry who's stronger too. Where's Alma?
Yes.
Right. Oh snap! Arc tempered. I heard he's been giving everybody trouble too. So it's really like, do I want to fight him? There's a lot of event quests actually. You know what? I guess I can see how what everybody's like really talking about for this. He could join me. Oh my god! Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Should I get started?
But yeah. Like I haven't really sat down and decided to play this game for a little bit. So I figured I kind of like just discussing more than anything else than actually playing this game. It's not that I don't like this. I don't like WoW at all. I mean, it's great. Like, but it's like it's just a burnout.
A supply shipment's come in. Hope you find something useful.
Like I do think people are going a little overboard with everything, but like, it's like, bro, it's tiring.
On my way there. I'll see you back at camp.
Let's see what the hype is about. I still don't like this monster, but like I'll still fight it, I guess, one time on stream. I probably won't see me fight him again. Jesus Christ, bro. Oh, God. Okay. Maybe he don't like me either. Nice to know. That felt crazy. That was like a sheesh moment.
That looks like a good place to set up camp.
All right, y'all tell me he's leaving area.
Thing's crazy. Get out!
Jesus. Yeah, he beat my ass. Like, I'm good off that. Let me see. I gotta run that back. Gotta run that back at least one time. Sheesh, I have not played this game in a while, so I don't know how these builds and stuff work.
Right.
But I do gotta run that back. That was terrible. That event quest, yeah. Damn, I just realized that made me raise my voucher too. It happens, I guess. Yeah, I think I see what everybody's talking about with this event quest though. I'm getting fried.
The hunt is on.
I think he was just tired of me calling him
Don't let them go to waste.
freaking a body slam merchant though. I did not restock. God. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Hope I don't have to fight him again.
There it is.
I'm with you.
I still got hit by that. Okay. Wow. Hold on.
Easy now.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to fight him. I'm fighting him off screen. That is crazy. Can't get it off screen, y'all. I can't do that. I think I'm way too tired at this time though. It's like, god damn. I got hit one time and my health just went to one. That was crazy. He surely got hands, but that's pretty much it for this stream though. It wasn't too long. I just wanted to do for like an hour. But I'll see y'all next week, Sunday. Probably, yeah, same time, 9 o'clock though.